Hi everyone, welcome back to our course. And for this time, let's discuss about ethics and culture. What is the relationship between ethics and culture? So let's learn more about it. So ethics can be defined as the discipline of the rational justification of moral principle and moral behavior. So one can explain that the probable cause of an action, even though it poses consequences, some it may be considered to be the most ethical thing to do or the moral behavior. Well, in for an instance, there are some decisions or some thoughts that we do that on which we are quite unsure. But because of the greater good that we think it can do to us and to the society in general, we do it. That's why there are a lot of theories that are in line or can define an ethical behavior. One of it is cultural relativism. These are the beliefs, the customs, and ethics that are relative to the social context. So we can say that there are certain beliefs that are not present to another community. There are some legalization or there are some considerations that are happening to other countries. But in other states or nations, it's not legal or it's not ethical. So let's first define what is culture. Culture is a system of the shared beliefs, values, behaviors, and practices which are common to a particular group or population that results from group experience that is interpreted in light of beliefs about the purpose and meaning of life. So we can say that culture are a shared belief of a community or a group of people. This becomes the traditional point of view which is followed by those who are included in the community or by a particular group of people. That is culture. Okay, there's also a term which we can consider as ethnocentrism. Okay, ethnocentrism evaluates that other cultures according to the preconceptions originating in the standards and customs. Okay, it is just based on one's own culture. So the evaluation of other cultures definitely is based from the personal culture of the person. It means that one may see his or her own culture as the correct way of living. So, from which the person cannot see the value of other cultures because he focuses it more on the culture where he or she is from or coming from. Okay, so that's how he make judgment of the ethical behavior. Okay, considerably this is not a good aspect to consider or not a good trait for most communities. Okay, so it becomes more inclusive. I mean, it becomes more exclusive. Okay, so ayun. So let's go to the elements of the culture. So there are certain elements of culture that we need to consider. One of it is value. This is the criteria for judging what is right and wrong. So, for instance, the code of conduct. Okay, what are the rules that we needed to follow? Okay, what are those things that are considered to be right or wrong? Like no cheating. Okay, so those are some things. What value? Norm. Okay, this is the rule of guideline that says how to behave in a particular situation, socially appropriated or expected. So this keeps us sane, okay, or in the right mind. So some of its examples are like falling in line in a grocery store if you're buying something, waiting for your turn, and when you are inside a cab, okay, you need to be more cautious and you needed to also consider what other people, okay, or the comfort of those people that you are with in the cab. So symbol represents the gestures and different sign that express a particular meaning. So like for instance, bowing in Buddhism. So this signifies respect. Okay. Also like genuflect when you are entering a Catholic church. So it also symbolizes respect. Sign of the cross. Okay. So this is also part of the religious aspects or behavior that we do. Okay, language is the verbal and written symbols that can be used for communication. Like for instance, nodding, if you are agreeing to the person, or even message shortcuts like "Where are you now?" So for from that we can usually type WUN, right? So also we can have some symbols like hand gestures of like a thumbs up, okay, something like that. So another thing is word expressions like wow. So there's those are some things that we can say to a person that we are amazed. Okay, also knowledge. So knowledge signifies the body of facts and practical skills that people accumulate over time. So for knowledge, there are like history, okay, are certain traditions that some countries have, also, skills in making an ornament or making a fish hook, some skills that are present inside the community. Okay, those are the knowledge that can be passed on from one person to another. So, cultural differences argument states that different cultures have different moral codes. Therefore, there is no objective truth in morality. So, we can say in this argument, in this premise, that right and wrong are only matters of opinion, and opinions vary from culture to culture. So, for some culture, it's okay, but for other cultures, it's not a good practice. Also, it also matters from the person's perspective, the person's preference, how he view a particular behavior. Like for instance, when you are fidgeting, okay, so for some people they say it like it's disrespectful or it's not rightful to do it, especially when you are on a social place or when you are on the dining table. Also, certain actions like legalization of marijuana, as I think this is some countries have somehow legalized it for medical purposes, but for other countries it's really illegal. Also, polygamy for some religions, okay, polygamy is okay. Like for some cultures it's all right, but for other cultures it's very unethical. Also, same-sex marriage, for instance. So some countries have really accepted this and it is following, or they are applying it, or they are practicing it, but for some states like in the Philippines, okay, it's still not legal. Okay, so there are certain practices that really differs from place to place. So this is just a representation of how culture is diverse. Okay, the diversity of beliefs. So rightness and wrongness of human actions, okay, is really reflected on the different understanding of people. Okay, also the different rituals. This represents the different customs that a culture has compared to others. Different type of people. Okay, this will result to a different society. That this will distinguish people from the rest, right? Because of the culture that they have. Also, different religion. Because of this, there are different beliefs all throughout the world. So, because of this, our culture becomes so diverse. And sometimes there are interculturation wherein some cultures are transmitted or some cultures are being adapted by a person. So that is another topic to discuss. And that's it for my lesson. I hope you've learned something for today. Keep safe, everyone. Thank you for listening.